Today, we'll honor one of the pioneering spirits who made Palm Springs what it is today. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here at Traces of Hollywood. And today we are visiting the grave of Lawrence Crossley, whose story reads like the classic American dream. But first of all, let's have a look at this. This is the Black History Month parade in downtown Palm Springs, with February, of course, being Black History Month. And unfortunately, when I got down here, it was already about, I would say, half of the way or 3/4 of the way finished. But you can see there was a nice little turnout of performers. There were these folks here dressed in beautiful outfits, and they were dancing later in the park. And lots of people out here just showing their pride, showing their support for one another and for our community that we all share here in Palm Springs. As I made my way further along the parade route, heading more downtown, the crowd numbers really increased, and there were a lot of people out here having a good time, and this was one of my favorite sights. I love being in this part of the country. It makes me feel like I'm in the Old West, and these are some real deal cowboys on these beautiful horses. And that is something that I actually see quite often around town. There are several stables located just on the edge of town, and you'll often see people riding horses through the washes. And reminds me of another town here in California, Chatsworth. And I had worked on a film up in Chatsworth at a place called the Cowboy Palace, and maybe we'll cover that in a future video. I also just happened to catch this cool flyover of a C-47 Skytrain. These were famously used over Normandy for D-Day, and this one actually belongs to the local air museum, and you can book flights on it. As I made my way over towards the festival that was part of the parade, I passed by the Forever Maryland statue, and there's always folks out here gathered in front, and families and groups getting photos. It's quite a popular spot, and it's actually being moved to the north to an adjacent park, just a few yards or a few meters for our Canadian and European friends. There were some really delicious looking food carts here. There's some gator bites, catfish. I had just had lunch, otherwise I probably would have indulged. This is actually the Palm Springs High School dancing group, and these kids did a fantastic job. Really impressive, really a lot of fun watching them out there entertaining the crowd and having a good time, as was everyone there. And you'll note the double-decker bus in the background. That's part of Modernism Week. Those were touring around the city for the past week and a half, and each time I saw them, they were completely full. So Modernism Week, Black History Month Festival. I mean, this was just a really action-packed and fun weekend in Palm Springs. And there goes a cool Citroen. I love to capture the interesting cars we have around town. But as you'll see, there were other performers. This gentleman was singing some gospel songs, and the crowd really seemed to enjoy him. And now, as promised, we're going to visit the grave of Lawrence Crossley. And as I said, his story really is the American dream come true. He was born in Mississippi on a farm in 1899 and later moved to New Orleans, where he became a trumpet player, and then at the age of 24 moved with his wife to Palm Springs, California. Just after Lawrence, who you see here, and his wife Martha moved to Palm Springs, he started working for Prescott Stevens, who owned the famous El Mirador Hotel. He worked for Stevens as a chauffeur, and soon his reputation on the golf course would earn him a coveted position in developing the hotel's very own course. He had made such an impression on Stevens. Crossley continued to impress Stevens so much with his talents that he put him in charge of the Whitewater Mutual Water Company that Stevens also owned. And later, Crossley would go on to develop land near, if you're from the area, you would know the intersection of Ramon Road and Sunrise Way in nearby Cathedral City, which is actually where this cemetery is, where we are now. And maybe it looks familiar to you. I have brought you here before. Just up there is where Suzanne Summers' grave is located. And then to my back now, behind me a ways, is where Frank Sinatra's grave is. And you can check those videos out on the channel here if you're interested. And getting back to Lawrence Crossley's accomplishments, he founded the Tramview Village, and that was 20 years before the aerial tram was even operational here. It had been in development and discussion for a long time, so his forethought was really incredible. He also became a trusted advisor and friend to the local Agua Caliente Indians, and the tribe trusted him because he was another non-white person in the area, but he was also successful and had a lot of influence in the local business and political scene, which helped them advance a lot of their own projects and programs. This is to show you across the street is Forest Lawn. You've seen some famous graves with me over there as well. So these two cemeteries are side by side, and if you're in the area visiting any other celebrities, feel free to go ahead and stop by and pay your tributes to Lawrence Crossley, a gentleman whose skill and talents and perseverance really contributed tremendously to the city of Palm Springs. Rest in peace, Lawrence Crossley. Thanks for watching, and if you want to be the first to know whenever we post a video about a celebrity grave, a celebrity home, or your favorite filming locations, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as it goes up. Thanks a lot, and see you on the next one.